Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Rebecca, and I'm going to be talking with you today about Vouched. What is it? What's the big deal about it? Well, I think it's a very big deal. And so we're going to be diving into what this technology is, what it's not, who it's meant for, and what it can do for you if you are looking for a new job. So, right off the bat, Vouched. It is an early stage HR startup operation. It serves two sides of the market, job seekers and employers. And the whole point of building this platform is to restore the trust, the transparency, and the humanity that should be part of a job search. If you have applied for a job, you know that you kind of start out in a place of skepticism from day one, from the moment you start filling out your applications or updating your resume. There's this skepticism that's built into the process already. And that's no fault of your own. That's because the two options that are primarily out there for this process are not built to favor you, and you know it. So there's this dark cloud that comes with you the moment that you know this is something you are going to have to do for yourself as you go out and look for employment. So, the restoration of trust, that cynicism is not separated from the lack of trust. They are one and the same. And so when we built Vouched, we are looking for ways to restore that trust. You also carry that heavy cloud because you know nothing is going to be transparent. You're going to find job postings that you are fully qualified for, but somehow you never get a call back, or somehow, no one ever reaches out to you about what happened after you applied for that job. That's not transparency. That is another reason to be skeptical of the system. And we also know if you have been looking for a job for any amount of time, the last probably 6 months to 24 months, that the process has essentially removed human beings from the interaction. And that's a problem. That's kind of the problem. So we're going to talk about how do we restore the humanity to the interactions that are starting to happen when you are looking for a new job. So, um, this is not a job board in the typical sense. This is an entire ecosystem. And I'm going to talk about why there are more features and more pieces to this than just a job board. Anybody can start a job board, pull all the jobs from all the other job board websites, put it on to a platform or to their domain and say, here's a new job board world. Dive in. That is not helpful. That is repackaging and rebranding and pushing out the same trash that is already out there. That is not what we set out to do. That's not who we are. So I wouldn't call this a job board, but since we're connecting employers and job seekers, that we do serve that a function that's in there that's very similar. So this is also not a content platform. One of the biggest complaints that I see right now with the primary job board is that it has become a dumping ground of content for all kinds of things that are absolutely non-work related. And that is not something that we are trying to accomplish with this platform. That is not the goal. And it's not meant to be another content launching pad for influencers or a huge amount of followers. That's just not our game. That's not what we believe is valuable when you're looking for work. So we don't have it as part of our platform. This is an infrastructure. If you want to get right down to it, this is an infrastructure for employers who are genuinely in need of qualified candidates. It is a infrastructure for professionals who deserve to be seen for what they actually do, what they've actually accomplished in their life, and have somehow been buried under all the noise. But they still have families to provide for. They still have mortgages to pay. They still have a lot of time left to give the workplace. They just need to be seen in order to find that right next fit for them. And that's who this is built for. So what I'm going to do today is talk to you a little bit about the depth and scope and the breadth of this infrastructure, what it looks like, and our mindset around it, because it is different. We set intention for it to be different than anything else that's out there. So Let's start with the AI Burn Center. That's our overall umbrella. That's our parent, if you will. And the AI Burn Center, if you break down the words of it, is a place where people who have been burned by AI can come and find some sort of restoration. And that is a massive problem right now. It's widespread. It's something we're seeing across the board in every industry across the entire world. So having a place where you can go and get treated for that burn, but also learn how not to fear it. AI has become part of our workplace. So when you go to a burn center, that familiarity and the courage to be around fire again and have that exposure is part of the treatment. Well, same thing, same mindset goes to here. We are trying to get you back to a place where you realize AI is your friend. AI is a necessity. AI is in our world now, and you're not going to go into another job that doesn't have some level of automation already built into it. So, how do you go back into a workplace without those skills? And now all of a sudden, you find yourself as a middle-aged professional. You're looking around and you're thinking, well, I graduated school 20 years ago, and 20 years ago, I couldn't have imagined that technology would advance to the point where my skills and my function in the workplace could be automated to the point where I wasn't necessary. Um, and not necessarily not necessary, but the function that you performed became not necessary. You as an individual, as a person, you are extremely necessary. We need every single person that exists on planet Earth to walk out and fulfill their purpose. So when you experience a disruption, I was going to say an AI disruption, but it could be any kind of disruption in the workplace, and you find yourself without employment, especially if you're middle aged, you're kind of looking around thinking, well, what do I do now? I have all these skills, I have all this experience. I'm looking at these job postings that now all require, some sort of AI literacy that I was never taught at university. What am I supposed to do? Going back to university? That's not an option. I mean, let's break that down. Why is that not an option? Well, first of all, most universities are so far behind the technology, they can't approve a curriculum quickly enough for you to go to university, get retooled, and then go back out into the workforce. They are ill-equipped to handle the pace of what's happening right now. So to me, to vouch to us at AI Burn Center, we don't think going back to university is a legitimate option. It's not going to fulfill the purpose of education or retooling you. And also, if you've got mortgage and kids and a life and everything else going on, to ask you to go back and sit into a university classroom or spend, I don't know, 15 or 20 hours a week going through curriculum that, like I said, is outdated. Nobody wants to go further into debt or justify a spend like that if it doesn't actually get them where they want to go. So when we looked at what all needs to be happening within this infrastructure, there has to be a teaching element to it. So you've got AI Burn Center. We've developed Vouched, which is where we're connecting job seekers and employers. But then we have something called Forward. And Forward is a curated content library of courses that we think are going to be the most valuable for people as they put themselves back together and they rebuild a life or they prepare for what's next. They are going to need some sort of education. So, what if a job board or an infrastructure provided not only the place to look for a job, but also the retooling tools that you will need in order to look for that next job? And that's what we've created in Forward. So you can go through these modules and earn what we call badges. And badges will indicate to an employer that you are active in your learning process. You are actively looking to get new skills. You are preparing to go into the workplace with them with a fresh set of eyes and perspective. And you've got all this experience to stand on, and they can see that you are preparing yourself. And so all of that coming into one user profile starts to create different levels. Like, this is not just create a resume, push it out there, and hope that some algorithm finds you or hope that it connects you to the right employer. You are going to have a depth and a level of experience of who you are as a person that is going to be on display for an employer, unlike any other job board that's out there. So, yes, we've got AI Burn Center, we've got Vouch, we've talked a little bit about Forward, um, and one of the other differentiators. So, badges is a big differentiator, but so is something called vouches. So, if you ask somebody, "Hey, will you vouch for me?" Sometimes that's in the dating world, or vouch for me in front of her parents, or vouch for me in front of the coach, or vouch for me in front of the recruiter, whoever it is. Please vouch for me. But what if those vouches were part of your profile? What if you could send out a request for someone to vouch for you, and they were able to write about your particular skill set, the work that you've done, your character, or some of the differentiators between you and the rest of the market? That is a vouch. And so in our system, you're able to send out a request to someone saying, "Hey, will you vouch for me?" They get a link, they open it up, they see the your name, they see the role that you're pursuing, not the job. It's not the job that you're applying for, it's the role that you're looking to secure. And then there's going to be a place for them to mention, what company did you guys work at together, and how long did you work together, and then what do you want to say about this person. And so we are going to get into some of the job seeker features in another video. But those two things, badges and vouches right now, we've got more coming. But those two features are very different, vastly different than what we have on other job platforms right now. So another part of the AI Burn Center ecosystem is we believe that one of the most secure things you can do for yourself is to create multiple streams of income. For my parents and for my grandparents, one job working 40 hours a week checked all the boxes. It took care of the family, it provided stability, they were a homeowner, they had 2 cars, they had their kids, and it did everything it needed to. That is not today's world. One job usually doesn't cut it. So most of the time, if there's a married couple, there's some sort of side hustle, or, they're doing things in their off time, and they have to. There's a reason that inflation costs and the cost of living has gone through the roof. And so one job doesn't cover the bills anymore. So if you are a mid-level professional, though, and you're trying to find a way to create a secondary or third stream of income for yourself, most of the time, we were never taught how to do that. If we went to university, even if you have an advanced degree, you were taught how to work for somebody else. But there's an entire skill set that's needed if you are going to create an income for yourself outside of your 9 to 5. So yes, we do offer a program that allows someone to go through a very high touch one-on-one coaching situation. We call it the first dollar. And that will just walk you through how to use AI in a world that will advance you and accelerate your ability to be a business owner outside of your 9 to 5, so that you can create a stream of income that nobody can take away from you. And that's really the need and the necessity. Why we find that so important is it's something you own. So imagine being able to say, "Hey, honey, got laid off today, but don't worry. We have this other income that I've been building on the side. We're going to be fine. I'll start looking for another job. But in the meantime, mortgage is going to get paid. Bills are going to be paid. We're not going to go hungry." That kind of reassurance is so valuable. Coming from a wife and a mom, that's music to our ears. So yes, we do offer that as well. So when I talk about the ecosystem of the AI Burn Center and Vouched and Forward, I'm talking about all of these things working together in unison on one single platform. And that's why it's so different than anything else out there. There are so many times that I've gone to a job board or I've gone onto these platforms, and it's like a cry. I can hear it from the other side. I can hear it in the posts that people put out there. Where is the alternative? There has to be something better. And it finally got to the point where, for my husband and I, we started looking at, well, what do you think we could do? And so, yes, my husband is our CTO, our chief technical officer. He has built this entire platform. He is brilliant, which is why I married him. But we do this in partnership. We are doing this partly because we figured out that we could. We figured out the market really needs this. And if all the tools and the abilities are there, why not do it and do it better and build it for something into the future? So that is a little bit about who we are and how we think. And in the next few videos, I'm going to be talking about features. I'm going to be talking about what some of the different workflows look like, and who is in this curated library of in our forward content. We're going to be diving into all that. So I hope you come back. I hope you come see us again. And yeah, welcome to Vouched.